good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
We back.
And we out here. And we miss you.
Food and liquor stores. Yeah, man.
So we're going to do a little bit of retrospective. This is close to the 20th anniversary of Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, his debut album with Jay-Z at the helm, a little bit of Kanye West production. He had just finished Kanye West Touch the Sky. Mm-hmm. He had been dropped from his label Arista after they folded and L.A. Reid left. And so he then signed his new deal, and Jay-Z said, "Come along with me, young man. I'm going to put you in the forefront." And so we're going to talk about what we experienced during the time that album was released. We're going to talk about the tracks and like what they meant to us and some of the things that really stuck with us as the music unfolded. Mm-hmm. And we continue to listen, and we will kind of dive into what it's like today to listen to this project. He just dropped a little freestyle over some Drake stuff promoting his tour for Food and Liquor, and so that is where we got the inspiration to start this off. And so let's talk about how you felt.
So this would be 2006, obviously, and Kick Push would be the standout single at the time. So I go up, I'm looking at this video, and I'm like, I look like that guy. In a way of like, I have glasses, I feel like a nerd. This is a skating song. I don't skate, but it feels very inclusive to where I am as a person in this era. Even though technically at that time I was braids, contacts, and very South Side, if you will.
He's Jose. Yeah, transformed in his machine.
Yeah, man. I was JG during them days.
The Stefan.
Oh, I definitely hit into the Stefan machine. But you know, like coming into myself as a artist in a certain way, or at least trying to figure out who I wanted to be. And so I see this guy, and I was like, oh, I can be myself a little bit more, or a lot more than what I was at the time. So what was your... No,
we're done. We're not done. What does the music do for you?
Oh, the
music...
music...
Not just like... I see myself in this guy.
Well, the music at the time just gave me a bed to kind of understand how to use my intelligence within my raps. So initially, it was just punchline setup, versus using a metaphor, a simile, alliteration, or trying to speak with a message.
So your Lil Wayne flow turned into what?
Yeah, my Lil Wayne flow turned into like Joe Budden's vulnerability and then Lupe's intelligence. Because I'm now seeing a wide variety throughout this throughout this album, of deep, thought-provoking music, to where it's like, whether it's the instrumental or even the cool, where there are these stories set up that you like kind of really have to pay attention to. You have to listen to it multiple times because you kind of have to understand what he's saying and what he's setting up, because there are so many different trails and things within this music that are kind of showing what it's like from almost like a voyeuristic point of view of the Black experience. in a way that I had never looked at my lived experience before.
Yeah. So at the time, it was kind of strange because I don't think you could have told me that this project didn't do well commercially.
Right.
I was very confused to look back today and see that it only sold about I think it was 800,000 copies or 300,000 copies, one of those numbers. But ultimately, it debuted number 8 on the Billboard 200. And at the black table at lunch, the conversations with our peers, the talks about like, oh, Kanye just came in and changed the game. Lupe just came in and changed the game. 375,000 copies. Great. Those folks came in and changed the game for lyrical rap. Right. This was the time that kind of Mos Def was popping. Kanye was popping. Common was making it back into the scene, into the radar. Dave Chappelle was heavily influencing black culture at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We were listening to more like cocoa butter, shea butter songs.
Cocoa butter, shea butter.
Like everybody was going natural. Like it was just a thing where at that time, we felt like somebody was finally here to save music.
Yeah.
And Lupe was one of those quote unquote saviors for rap music. And the conversations were as if he was the biggest star in the world.
Yeah.
And not knowing that, like, commercially, he wasn't that much of a success. This album didn't go gold until 2021.
Yep.
Which is really sad because it was so impactful. Like, maybe it's because we all burned it on LimeWire. Like,
yeah, I was thinking about that because that was my first experience with the album. Was somebody had their we used to like have hard drives. We used to give people hard drives to share music and things.
Yeah, all of us broke children, not paying into the music industry, made Lupe look like he was a failure, but he wasn't. He was successful online.
Mm-hmm.
He made a big splash across multiple different generations of hip hop.
Yeah,
and that was the feeling of the time. It felt like somebody had taken hip hop and made it more successful.
Yeah, and it was crazy because this is prime hip hop blog era. So like
we're coming out of Snap white t-shirt era.
Like we listen to Jay-Z, we're changing clothes and we're in our casual business attire in the club.
Yo, going business casual to the club is wild.
It's a wild thing.
Especially as teenagers.
No, we did some stuff. But it was like, it felt like it was okay. It felt like we were leading towards thought-provoking hip-hop. And to me, in a lot of different ways, it also spurned like my mind being ready for like the TDEs of the world.
Yeah. And also at the time, I think it's counterculture to politics.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Yeah.
Right. This is Bush era.
Mm-hmm.
His second term, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And we're fed up, right? We're fed up with wars. We're fed up with, the corruption in the White House. Shoes are being thrown at this guy. Like, and so I think comparatively, when we get to the end of this conversation, well, we can see that we thought it was bad.
Yeah. Oh man.
Let's talk about some of those tracks that like were deep for us.
We already alluded to like the first one, but Kick Push was like a huge conversation, right? Because even if you weren't a skater kid, it just sounded like the nerd's anthem, if you will. And sounded like this amazing story that kind of created the friend groups that you would play with. It kind of felt, it gives like a Stand By Me or something like that kind of feelings to me. And like it's introducing a friend group, or any of those kids movies. Sandlot.
It's sort of like, not just movie references. It's sort of like I Wish,
Yes.
I wish I was you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how commercially viable that was at the same time as delivered by this kid from, Chicago, west side of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So what else?
It also kind of like defined this era of kind of, like you said, like how we perceive singles. Like, so there's nothing that you could have told me that said he wasn't selling like hotcakes,
billions of records.
because Kick Push was literally everywhere.
Yeah, it was ubiquitous.
It was everywhere. They did a whole like thing of how he was beefing with the ice cream, the black skaters, and like there was a lot going on around this song, and it was just like a huge kind of shift and a change to where, if nothing else, it felt like nerddom had finally reached a certain level of mainstream notoriety. And I think that was like...
What does that mean?
So, a lot of times, like if you were... you're seeing more differences of character, right? There were a lot of nerd hip-hop artists, hip-hop groups, backpackers, if you will, like they're kind of rising to the forefront. But to me, there is still a difference between Kanye's way of doing backpacking and Lupe's like dissertation of society. That just wasn't really the biggest thing to me. There were people who were, whether it's MOP or others, that were like standing up. Public Enemy is what I was thinking about. But you're thinking about these people who are, whether it's NWA, that are standing against the cause, but there's something about when he did it that kind of felt like, oh, this is a fight for everybody to me.
Yeah.
It was like a background thought.
For me, Pressure stands out. Not for any of the political reasons, but because being a Jay-Z fan, I was not prepared for him to kind of bow out and be done. I think it was around 2005, right? Mm-hmm. And then he does this thing where, he's in the corporate world at the top of the industry. He's president of Def Jam at the time, and then he chooses to pop back out again. Mm-hmm. And this is MySpace era, right? You got no one in the corner has swagger like us, and like, you know what I mean. So like Jay-Z does this verse on Pressure, like saying that I'm back, I'm out of retirement. Yeah, and that was everybody was the meme where. You know what I mean? Like that's what that energy was like. Yeah. And so musically, it felt like somebody that was more lyrical had bowed out at the end of the Change Clothes time. Mm-hmm. He's like, change clothes, I'm out. Peace. I'm done. Ace of Spades in my polo. Yeah. And
dog.
Yo, fashion was nuts.
We were wild. Double polos, right? And a backpack,
right?
Or a knapsack, actually.
Tucked in polos, right?
Big belt buckles. Oh man, we did things.
Popped collars. Anyway,
the embarrassment.
So it was like, all right, Jay-Z, are you going to like? It's sort of like he got out too early. Yeah. And then the thing that he wanted to happen in the industry actually happened, and so he sort of foresaw it, but he didn't call it right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so his return was a big surprise, and I think good for hip hop, because we wanted hip hop to change at the time.
And a huge stamp like that. This is still in a moment where I still feel like Jay-Z features mean something on people's albums, but this is like, huh? Excuse me? Why are you on this song with this? Like, this is a debut album feature, not a, like, he comes off of a feature with Kanye and Touch the Sky, and then on your debut album, you get EP'd by Jay and a feature. Like, that is alone, like, what it stamps and says about Lupe. On top of that, but I'm thinking about Outside of Pressure, another song that like kind of changed how I felt about like samples, because I was like so used to Kanye, but hearing Daydreaming was like my brain broke. Because the song is beautiful, the sample is great. Jill Scott did her thing, and that was like 2 singles to me back to back that were just everywhere.
Yeah, I think Daydreaming turns into like a stereotypical Lupe song. I'm flying in the robot's eyes, you know what I mean? I'm just he like, you could just imagine that he has this giant mech suit and he's moving around. Go deeper.
I also kind of felt like to go deeper on like Daydreaming in general, right? So Lupe again does this thing on majority of his albums where you get this outside voyeuristic view of Black culture and general society of how things are working within that. Daydreaming was that, but it was like a look inside of a look. So he makes the robot this society, this huge thing. There's this going on down here. This is what the industry is looking like. This is what the industry feels like in regards to you know, today's standard of 2006. But it's like there's a, you know, car chase going on at the waist, and like all of these things where it's like he is showing how everything works together, like how crime works because of this, how crooked police are doing this, how your imagination does this, how music videos are giving you this kind of imaging and telling you this and changing your perspective, all in the midst of just daydreaming and having enjoyment. But it's like his run-of-the-mill thoughts, even because he kind of makes it seem like in Daydreaming like these are just aimless thoughts, but they are so pointed to the general experience. Like, but what in terms of like Daydreaming is like your experience with it? Were there deeper things like that for you as well?
For me, I think when I think about it in hindsight, today for me, Daydreaming is just a trope of a Lupe Fiasco. It's sort of like it's the song that reminds you of who Lupe is, but at the time it was something that I had on repeat constantly.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking that Daydreaming is really, really successful, like you said, at flipping the sample. It's also really successful at its storytelling and its use of Jill Scott. So like, he didn't have a lot of notable features on this project outside of Jay, outside of Jill. Like, there were notable producers, right? Kanye West, Neptunes, even Star Trek, right? Even though Star Trek was not as known then, Star Trek today, soundtracks. I keep saying Star Trek, Neptunes. Soundtrack today is, super incredible as a producer, but like the work that was done to connect with these superstars was not expected.
Yeah. Another thing that's like supremely notable is his features didn't sound like the homie Discount. And what I mean by that is there was a lot of albums during that time, or when you would kind of like put your friends on the album or people that were like in your crew, where it could kind of, they sounded like bargain bin, like this is all you could get. And they sounded like you're just trying to bring your mans along. Whereas like he was so, to me, intentional with how he created the songs and how the songs ended up sounding. Like having Gemini, Sarah Green, Shayla G, like all of the F&F crew at the time, it was very warranted and showed that there was like way more crafting to me involved, and that the craft of the people around him was of a high quality, which you didn't get fairly often when you didn't get like major features and stuff like that. Like he's never had an issue to me using the people he's actually cool with to a high level, and this was the first example of that.
Yeah, I think the other song that stands out is Just Might Be Okay.
Dog.
I think Gemstones really, at the time, went by Gemini.
Yeah.
But he really sold that hook. He put all of his like energy into making sure that hook really like stood out.
Mm-hmm.
And also, many people didn't know like his range, right? The bars he could spit, those types of things. We wouldn't know more about him until later on during the Cool.
Yeah.
But Just Might Be Okay is Lupe taking these like objects and personify them and making like these long stretches of metaphors. Mm-hmm. And I felt like he not only spoke to the times and the anxiety in the inner city,
yeah,
but he also spoke to the optimism. Even though we're going through these things, we're gonna make it out. We're gonna be okay after all, right? Like we
gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, it's a early precursor to that thing. And fast forward 2015, and he's using this song to talk about Derek Chauvin and talk about Freddie Gray, and just talk about like this police brutality that's in our society.
And to piggyback off that into like Gemini just carrying a song, He Say She Say was another incredibly impactful song, because at the time for me, my parents are going through a divorce, so like my relationship with my dad is not as I would like for it to be. And so like listening to that song was kind of like the child in me, even though I was, like I said, I'm 18 or whatever, 18, almost 19 at this point. But like I connected immediately with this song where you're talking about these things from the three different perspectives. He wants you to be a father, he's a little boy. Like you're listening to the mom in a way of like, hey, I don't care if we do anything together. I just want you to be involved in the kid's perspective. And it was so gut wrenching to kind of sit within this broken relationship, these broken bonds, this need and want for parental guidance, you know? So the song just had like this overall supremely impact. Gemini's chorus and Sarah Green, like both of them just have this back and forth that illustrates just what that actually feels like while you're in the midst of it. And it was like just poetically beautiful.
Yeah, I think with that song, it rings true for so many kids, but it also rings true for a lot of Black kids, which is the point that he's trying to make. Like all of these conditions, all of these systemic issues are becoming issues that we have to live through.
Yeah.
And it's the American attack on blackness, which is the American attack on the black family unit, which is what he's really trying to like illustrate here, is that the external fight is now becoming an internal fight between these parents, and then it's breaking up homes. I think for me personally, it's like this echoes the relationship or the lack of a relationship with my father, where like, yeah, I know what these words mean.
Yep.
I feel these words on a regular basis, and I would never want my child to feel these words.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about when that song comes up. And he does a great job at putting the tension there.
Yeah.
To make it real.
But the craziest part about that though is the simplistic structure of the song. So it's not a song where he's just like going and doing like a million different bars. It's just literally the same verse, just slightly tweaked for the perspective.
Yeah.
And it like just does what it needs to do, which kind of shows more of Lupe's ability in songwriting. The last like song that I want to like highlight real quick before we kind of just talk about what this means today, and this will perfectly transition into that, is listening to American Terrorist. And like it was poignant because Lupe was making a point at that time to me to talk about how things have been going to me societally since 9/11 in that way, right? Because it's like the more money that we make, the more money that we take, like, and just kind of showing again societally, this isn't just a food and liquor, quote unquote, black issue. This is a society issue. This is how society is doing things. He was very aware of the systemic issues that not only plagued black people but plagued everyone. Because after like Hurt Me Soul, American Terrorist just kind of shows this, and this is what we're fighting against. This is what's creating these systems. This is what's creating the oppression. These burdens that are kind of weighing us down. And it's just another thing of like this. You created this tapestry of an album. So like, do you have any thoughts on American Terrorist and like how that song, like the impact of it, so to speak?
I don't think the song was socially impactful. Mm-hmm. I think it was impactful to listen to.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. That's what I meant.
But that's because like Lupe is pointing out the real problem, so to speak, right? Which is corporate greed. These folks, these oligarchs, are coming out and they are buying up elections. They are buying up resources. They are keeping people away from the middle class. They are. It's about class wars at that point. And Lupe recognizes this as the primary issue, which is why we can't have equity, why we can't do DEI, why we can't be in a society that sees folks as equal participants and as humans.
Yeah.
Because we're constantly trying to extract from them and just kind of do a capitalism, right? And so the terrorism isn't, and this at the time, right? The whole focus was on Islamic terrorism, but there was no focus on these American terrorists, the ones that carry the guns into schools, the ones that like blow up buildings, the ones that terrorized Boston Marathon, the ones that get away with corporate greed and do these Ponzi schemes, the ones that constantly pervert our laws and keep money in politics, right? Nobody's talking about all of those things, which is why Lupe said these things.
Yeah.
And conspiracy theory would say this is the reason why Lupe did worse coming out of, he did better commercially, but like worse with his label.
Yeah.
Because he's actually speaking the truth.
But yeah, I could literally go on about all of the songs, but I want to get into like today, kind of like framing it for how this 20 years later is still, sadly, so incredibly relevant. But like kind of how like the goalposts move or the grift has changed, so to speak. I was thinking about like today, and we were talking off air about he say, she say, and how like I feel like now the issue is whether it's like the Cam Newtons or even like Nick Cannon is the example of this, where it's not even that you're not around. It's just you got so many kids that your time and personality, like I can guarantee within a certain range that feeling of he say, she say can also now go for a kid that just has 18, 15, 10, 7 other siblings, like whether it's different parents, different mothers, and you just want like time. You want your parent around, right? And it's crazy how relevant this album and even the Cool are today. But that's like one of my points. What do you got?
So I think American Terrorist is the sort of the to your point, to your words, a dissertation of this project, but also a dissertation about society in general. And he starts the album by saying there are two things. There is good and there is bad. There's the food and there's the liquor. And what he's saying is that, like, I'm going to spend this album telling you about the food, and I'm going to spend this album telling you about mostly the liquor. And what he's doing is doing this Norman Rockwell type painting of realism to the point to where he's not telling a story that's going to be dated. He's telling a story that's going to be evergreen. And so we can go decade for decade. We can go 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and still experience the same things that he is talking about to a greater degree. And what I was saying earlier was like George Bush, comparatively to what we're experiencing now, was a bad dream. This is a night terror at this point.
Yeah. We were in a PG movie, no, a G movie at that, and now we're just like, you didn't need your guardian there. You could just watch the movie comparatively, and this is NC-17. Like, it's just raw, unfiltered. Like, what is this?
Human Centipede.
Oh my gosh! Just yes. But it's crazy because when you think about like revolutionaries in a sense, like he was doing revolutionary things with this music, and I think that's what made like the two singles that he has in terms of like Kick Push and Daydreaming and even I Gotcha. So you have like this, you know, the typical, like you said, a Lupe like standard, if you will, which didn't feel that way at the time. It just felt like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then you listen to this album where he's tackling those things or tackling these deep conversations about politics, policies, and people, and you're starting to kind of see the system. Like it literally starts to kind of crack the code for, your environment and what's going on around you and makes people more aware. It's kind of like breaking people out of the matrix.
Yeah, and so, you see his rise come as like we're being more and more socially connected, right?
Yeah.
His success is due to LimeWire and the internet and YouTube being these sources of like, oh, this is what other people are doing. This is what other people are experiencing. I'm experiencing that too. I didn't know they knew about that. I didn't know this secret was here. I didn't know that this information was available.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we're coming into the dawn of the information age and we're getting filled with more and more substance and we're less disconnected as a society, we're starting to see that Lupe has his finger on the pulse. And he's not only doing it in music, he's doing it in real life, right? He's getting people out to vote. He's telling people, like even during COVID, he's telling people about how to be safe in COVID, why we should be masking, why we should be taking vaccines and dispelling misinformation and disinformation. He knows these things intimately, and he knows what his label and the businesses and the corporations are going to do to him in real time. And so he spends all of his time trying to get this message out and cement it into the zeitgeist so that we can all experience it and sort of basically he's just woke.
Yeah.
Before woke existed.
Yeah. But I don't know. This album is just something that I think is like one of those treasures of hip hop that came at a time where you had people speaking against politics and everything, but I feel like the metaphors and the way he does it is like so enlightening that you got to kind of understand what he's saying, but they also can hear what he's saying on a certain level. Like it's not abstract. It's not abstract. It's not a threat. You know what I'm saying?
Which is why I compared him to Norman Rockwell, right? Realistic painter, right? He's not trying to sugarcoat or give you too many layers of things that you need to unpack, so to speak, right? There's metaphor mixed with realism, and that's why it's relatable to people.
Yeah, and it's just one of the funnest rides, I think, ever of having an artist that gives you things that are realistic on the surface, but then as you learn more and gain more knowledge, read more books, like it starts to bloom for you even further. But yeah, man, 20 years of an amazing album that has no skips.
You think we're gonna? You're trolling at this point. You think we're gonna have a resurgence of this type of commercial energy from hip hop?
Honestly, I think with the artists that we're expecting to do it, like, currently right now, you got Vince Staples' album about to come out, that I think will be a bit like this. But as far as like widespread people doing it, I don't see too many people doing it because I think there are a lot of people who are not wanting to rock the boat in terms of their streams.
They're okay with the American terrorist, basically. I'm not.
I'm not at all. But what do y'all think? Is Food and Liquor, one of those albums that you had an experience with back then? Maybe you haven't even listened to it. So let us know down in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified for every time that we go live. And we'll see you in the next piece. A 1 and a 2 and peace and much love to you.
What was that?
A Lupe thing.
Oh.
And so after every show is peace and much love to you.
I've seen him live before, so I don't know why I'm surprised by that.
Peace.